Heavy clouds hang over Jerusalem, the temple a silhouette against the gray sky. A fine rain falls, catching what little light there is. This is the final chapter of Ezra, a story of tears in the rain, a story of a nation's costly return to God. It begins with one man's grief, echoing through the heart of the city. Before the house of God, Ezra, a priest and leader, throws himself down on the wet stones, his face to the ground. He prays, he confesses, his body shaking with sobs. He is soaked through by the relentless rain, but his sorrow is for something deeper than the storm. As he weeps, a large crowd gathers around him. Men, women, and even children sing his anguish. They begin to weep bitterly too. The sound of their shared grief rises with the falling rain, a raw, public display of a nation's broken heart. From the crowd, a man named Shechaniah steps forward. His shoulders are heavy, his clothes drenched, but his eyes hold a steady, difficult hope. He speaks to Ezra, his voice cutting through the sound of weeping. He admits their collective sin. We have been unfaithful to our God by marrying foreign women from the peoples around us. His words are a painful confession, acknowledging the very thing that has brought them to this moment of crisis. But he doesn't stop there. In the midst of this despair, he declares, "But in spite of this, there is still hope for Israel." He proposes a radical solution, a covenant, a solemn promise before God, to send away the foreign wives and their children according to the law. He looks at the prostrate figure of Ezra and urges him, "Rise up. This matter is in your hands. We will support you, so take courage and do it." Ezra rises. The moment for weeping is over. The time for action has come. He makes the leading priests, the Levites, and all the people swear a solemn oath to do what Shechaniah proposed. With hands raised, they commit to this difficult path of repentance. But the weight of this decision settles heavily upon Ezra. He withdraws from the crowd, finding a small, dim room belonging to Jehan. There, he sits alone, mourning the unfaithfulness of his people. He doesn't eat. He doesn't drink. He simply fasts, carrying the burden of a nation's sin as his own. His personal grief fueling the difficult work ahead. A proclamation is sent out across all of Judah and Jerusalem. In small villages and towns, criers read the official command. Every man who had returned from exile must assemble in Jerusalem within 3 days. The consequence for failing to appear is severe. Their property would be forfeited, and they would be expelled from the community of the exiles. Hearing the news, men pause their work, their faces grave. They wrap their cloaks tight against the persistent rain and begin the journey. Their caravans, moving along muddy paths, all converging on the holy city. On the 20th day of the 9th month, the men of Judah and Benjamin gather in the open square before the house of God. The rain, which has been a constant presence, now pours relentlessly. The men shiver, their cloaks soaked and clinging to their bodies, distressed as much by the cold, driving rain as by the reason for their assembly. Ezra stands on a raised platform, a small figure against the grand backdrop of the temple. Yet his voice carries with authority. He declares their unfaithfulness, their sin of marrying foreign women, which added to the guilt of Israel. Then he lays out the path forward. "Now, honor the Lord, the God of your ancestors, and do his will. Separate yourselves from the peoples around you and from your foreign wives." A powerful response rises from the crowd. "You are right," they shout in unison. "We must do as you say." Their agreement is loud and clear, a collective decision to obey. But they also raise a practical concern. There are many people involved, and the rainy season makes it impossible to stand outside for long. They propose a more orderly plan. Let officials represent the whole assembly. They will schedule hearings for the men from each town who have married foreign women, allowing them to come before the leaders with their local elders and judges. This process will continue until the fierce anger of God over this matter is turned away from them. It is a plan born of both repentance and reason. And so, the investigation begins. Ezra appoints the heads of families to oversee the process. From the first day of the 10th month to the first day of the first month, for 3 full months, they sit. The work is slow and meticulous. One by one, Men stand before the elders. Scrolls are unrolled. Names are recorded, and testimony is heard. As the days turn into weeks, candles burn down, marking the long hours of this difficult task. A long scroll is gradually filled with the names of those found guilty. Among them are priests who give their hands in a pledge to separate from their wives. As a sign of their repentance, they each present a ram from the flock as a guilt offering to atone for their sin. The final list reveals the depth of the problem. It names men from every part of society: priests, Levites, musicians, gatekeepers, and ordinary Israel. The cost of their obedience is written, name by name, on the scroll. The text states plainly that all these men had married foreign women, and some of them even had children with them. The chapter ends not with a celebration, but with this somber record. It stands as a memorial to a painful but necessary act of corporate repentance, a deliberate, costly turning back to God. Each name represents a story of tangled relationships, emotional turmoil, and the heartbreaking price of restoring their covenant with God. So what's the hidden lesson here? True repentance is rarely easy. It's not just a feeling of remorse. It's an honest, thorough, and often costly action. It asks us to face the messy consequences of our choices and make changes that can be deeply painful. But as Ezra 10 shows us, this difficult path is the only way back to a restored relationship with God. It teaches us that true leadership often begins with humble, personal grief, and that real lasting change requires more than a moment of emotion. It demands a long, difficult obedience. As we close, consider this. Where is God asking you to make a hard but necessary turn back to Him no more halfway? Thank you for joining us for this story from Ezra. If you want more cinematic Bible storytelling, be sure to subscribe.